So creating and managing your policies and procedures, first of all, involve your employees. Because if your employees are involved in this, now you have some buy-in. Now they have some ownership. That's going to help you sell the program to the rest of the employees. You can't have everyone involved, but if they have representation, they're going to feel better about where management went instead of management always forcing things down their throat. You're going to do pre-hire screenings. You want to make sure that you're hiring the people that you thought you were getting. Check out their background, ask questions. Now I know that people are hesitant in telling things, but you can get some indications. There's keywords that are used that HR people communicate with themselves about that will indicate certain things to you, okay? But you need to do that pre-hire screening to make sure that these are the folks that you're getting, okay? And then I really have some discussion on this zero tolerance. If zero tolerance means to you that all instances will be addressed and unacceptable behavior will not be tolerated, that's great, because that's to me what zero tolerance is. What zero tolerance isn't is what we're seeing in our schools today. Because of all the things we're concerned about, kids bringing guns into school and weapons and things like that, we're seeing an overreaction to that as well. Because how many people, kid brings a plastic knife to school. Oh, he's suspended for 4 days. Really? A plastic knife? Or a kid takes a graham cracker and cuts it into the, bites it out and makes the shape of a gun and he points it at another student. Again, one size does not fit all. There's too many gray areas and things that we're dealing with. I think it's important for us to understand that, and that it can't be a disciplinary action where it's one punishment fits every crime. It isn't. There is a difference in how people are doing things, their mindsets, those kind of things. We need to address the situation itself, okay? But we have to address things evenly across the board in the fact that we cannot have what we call golden children, those favorite workers that are good producers, and then we let them get away with all the other things. No, we can't allow that. We have to address that behavior, and we have to make sure we get that behavior corrected. But the punishment we can maneuver a little bit on as far as what the exact crime was, okay? I think you also need to have a code of conduct for your employees. What do you expect from them? How do you want them to treat each other, and how do you want them to treat your customers? I think you have to define that professional behavior, don't you? What is professional behavior in your organization's opinion? What do you want to see from your employees? We were kind of talking about this on break. One of the things is that when we pay to have a jean day, so I get to wear jeans on Fridays, $10 for a quarter, that's not bad. And it goes to charity, and that's cool. But then, if it's a board meeting and our board's in, they want us dressed in nice. They want us in casual again, business casual. So it is a standard of how we're to act in certain circumstances. Now, I know that that's not workplace violence, but that's what we're talking about. You want people to know how to interact with one another. You want to know how they're supposed to respond to one another, okay? What is unacceptable behavior? And it wouldn't hurt to spell out, if they do these kind of things, these unacceptable behaviors, here's what the punishment is, because you can't surprise them and say, oh, by the way, we've decided this is unacceptable behavior and here's your punishment. No, let them know ahead of time. Here's what unacceptable behavior is, and if you violate this, this is what the punishment is. So they know ahead of time what that is, okay? How about reporting procedures? So I'm required to report to my supervisor, right? That I have a problem with someone else. So I report it to my supervisor. What do you do with the information? Well, come on. Yeah, exactly. That's the look sometimes that happens. As supervisors, sometimes we don't have that answer. Nobody spelled that out. Yeah, I'm supposed to report it to you, but that's the end of the reporting, right? Your discipline and your intervention guidelines have to be spelled out. At what point you're going to stop. This is different than just putting two people in a room and closing the door and saying, you guys stay in there until you're friends. Because how often does that work? Now, in the military, this works, because there's a certain aspect to it. But in the civilian world, that doesn't work. Conflict resolution's a little bit different here, okay? Working with people, understanding people. And once people start getting together and start understanding one another and how we are and things like that, that's going to reduce the conflict. But we have to work with those processes. And the other thing is educating our employees on all parts of all of our policies and procedures and what we expect from them, because they have to know what that code of conduct and everything we're setting the expectations. They have to meet those expectations. But if we don't set the expectations with them, how do they know what they're supposed to do? And on that external side of things, then you're going to abate those identification or those things that you identified during your security analysis, and you want to take, you want to continue to assess your threat level. This happens from time to time with Montana State Fund. We'll get a phone call and somebody will threaten, and they'll evaluate that, and if they take that as a viable threat, we'll have somebody security come in and sit in the office for a couple of days until they feel that the threat has passed. So you want to take credible action on those threats, on those credible threats that you feel are out there. And then again, create employee awareness. They have to understand the situations they put themselves into and have them understand what you want to see from them, okay? And plan for different scenarios and severities. This covers the whole range, doesn't it? Everything from some things that may be miscommunication or benign, all the way to that active shooter range. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's in between here. So the thing I would also tell you is that you want to practice your response. I'm going to show you a video here that they use in the state to do this. And one of the things that they talk about is that you have to, you're going to see people act really weird sometimes, and it depends on how a situation hits someone as to how they react with it. Your best chance of controlling people's behavior is actually working with them and practicing this and drilling it into them, because then they're going to do what they're drilled to do. However, the other part of that is you have to evaluate how you're responding, because if you respond the wrong way and you continue to practice it that way, then you're practicing it the wrong way.